Good morning, Dr. Morse, injury experts. So, Tyjae Spears has been getting a lot of love lately, although he is still in a platoon with Tony Pollard. They obviously massively upgraded at quarterback, going from basically Mason Rudolph and Will Levis to now Cam Ward. He looked fantastic yesterday. He ended up having a bunch of throws to Calvin Ridley, who's super underrated right now. But unfortunately, Tyjae Spears suffered a high ankle sprain last night. Here's the tweet. Now, what does this mean? We don't know severity, but these are always frustrating. There's type 1s, there's type 2s, and type 3s. Type 3s always need surgery. You need a high ankle, a tightrope procedure, we call it, and usually you're out 6 weeks. The good news about those is the odds of a re-injury are much lower, and when they come back, they're pretty good. The grade 1s or type 1s are frustrating, but they usually miss about 3 to 4 weeks. This is likely what Joe Mixon had early last season, and he ended up having a really good season. Now, the type 2s or the grade 2s are the frustrating ones. These are 4 to 6 weeks, and they really don't stabilize the foot and ankle complex for probably about 6 to 8 months. It's a very frustrating injury. And why is it frustrating? This is not a normal ankle sprain. This is actually a combo of multiple different ligament complexes. Now, if you look at the middle of your shin and go all the way down to your ankle, there is a ligament complex called the syndesmotic ligament that is responsible for keeping those two bones together. What happens is when a player gets landed on and their foot gets landed on like that, where their toes are pointed down, that complex starts to separate. Now, at type 1, they'll still be pretty close together. The grade 2s, the moderate ones, that separation starts to really become significant. And the grade 3s, they're no longer attached. So the grade 1s and the grade 2s are very frustrating because, yes, you'll be able to run in a straight line in about 2 to 3 weeks. The grade 2s, you might not even be able to put your foot down for a week or two. You'll see them on crutches. And the grade 1s, they'll be able to walk through it, but they won't do a whole lot of walking. They may be in a little scooter or they may be in a boot. The grade 2s are awful because when you start getting that mobility to run straight, you're not really stressing the syndesmotic ligament a whole lot. When you start cutting and changing directions, because the high ankle complex is a rotational component, that's when they struggle the most. And that's what takes out that elusiveness and that explosiveness. We've seen this with Christian McCaffrey. We've seen this with Cooper Kupp multiple times. These are very frustrating injuries. So whenever I hear high ankle sprain, they are pretty much useless to me for at least a month, sometimes up to 2 months. It's very hard to come back from these. Now, the good news is that Tony Pollard is pretty cheap. I think his ADP is in the late 20s. And this is going to send his ADP high. Why? Because if you look at the stat here, Tony Pollard has been really good last year, despite having Mason Rudolph as his quarterback. Long story short, I think that Tyjae Spears is probably going to end up missing the first half of the season, or at least the first couple weeks to a month of the season, depending on the severity. I would not be surprised if he starts on the PUP list. Now, we're going to see Tony Pollard take the majority of those touches, and we're probably going to see his ADP rise because, remember, after his bad ankle injury in Dallas, he took about a year and a half, almost 2 full years to finally look explosive again. This is the same injury that Mark Andrews had. That's the same injury that Isaiah Pacheco had. So both of them will start to look good as they start to come out of it. Pollard is already healthy and should be pretty good. Now, he is one of those few dual threat guys. There's about 15 to 18 of them. They're pretty elusive, pretty good at running, but they also can catch 50 to 70 passes a year, or at least targets. So it definitely in your interest to now fade Tyjae Spears and bump up Tony Pollard, especially as your running back 2 or your flex option because of this unfortunate injury to Spears. I will fill you in more news and notes as it comes out. We will have injury videos daily. Tune into the Injury Experts YouTube and TikTok channels. If you're looking for help in drafting purposes, we have some really good content over at theinjuryexperts.com. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.